Hi guys, welcome to Robin Hood Diaries again today. Hope you're well, whatever that means. Well, I guess I kind of know what it means. Not lately. Anyway, I previewed today as a kind of a freaky trip that I made to Soviet-controlled what was then Czechoslovakia, now known as the Czech Republic. Way different than when I was there. So I was on a trip, but we're not going to go into like a travelogue. So I was in Czechoslovakia because I had traveled to Austria. So, and I'll do a whole show on Vienna. Not a travelogue. So and again, I was traveling with my mom and my bestie of besties. Like, I don't want to say intellectual bestie, but like she co-directed the film that I mentioned that sort of got me like honors in communications and film theory in high school. So we were in Vienna doing our thing, and my mom, I'm going to have to mention someone in Czechoslovakia, but not identify them as gender or name. Why? Because this character is the crescendo of my book towards the end. So I'm not going to identify this person, but this person lived in Prague. As such, you know, we've known this person for many years, and since she lived in Prague and we were in Vienna, we wanted to go visit her and see Prague, right? Prague is amazing, I'll tell you in a second. So it wasn't very easy to get from Austria into Czechoslovakia because it's a communist country at the time. I mean, not that that prevented us, but it made it way, way different and more difficult to get in. Speaking of getting in, so we had a friend, that's why we traveled to Vienna, staying often like there, Czechoslovakia, and then went back. She was a very famous artist friend of ours, and there were some other people that my mom actually knew in Vienna. So we in this trip, we decided, let's go to Czechoslovakia. We also wanted to go to Hungary, but we couldn't quite do that in the time allotted. So in order to get in, obviously, to Czechoslovakia, you have to go through like a whole visa process, but on the spot. Like, we didn't have to have a visa to like arrival to get into Czechoslovakia. You go to this office, this weird like Social Security office, and you fill up these forms and like they take a picture and then they let you in, provided they approve your application to get in. So me, it was no problem. You know, I was like, what, 17 years old? My bestie, again, 17 years old. So, it wasn't a problem. But we were traveling with Liz. Now, egomaniacal Liz decided to put, of course, on her application, there's occupation. So we put like student. You're supposed to put something like really innocuous so they don't it doesn't raise any red flags, right? Well, knucklehead Liz puts down TV producer. I mean, because she worked in, commercial television production. She wasn't a producer. She knew a shit ton of producers and directors, and she was in on the best commercial spots that were on air. So knucklehead puts producer. So of course that gets kicked out immediately. She has like her nice picture and she's like, oh, I'm TV producer. So of course they kick that out. So I have the idea that why don't we reapply? Let's wait. And I scraggled my mom's hair. I told her, put a scarf on or something like around your head, like, babushka type. And, no fancy nothing, makeup, hair, nothing. And I said, on the application, put seamstress, okay? Because that's really innocuous. So we waited, and it's really crowded, so she filled out a whole new application. And when she got her picture retaken, because they don't log you until, they're logging you. We didn't get a log because Miss Thing says she was a TV producer. So she gets her, babushka picture, and then she puts seamstress, and of course, boom, we're in, right? Okay. So, oh my God, the flight to Czechoslovakia, whoa. First of all, this is a flying friggin' station wagon. It fit about, 5 people. It was a commercial airline. And we had busty commandant, not to trigger, as a stewardess. She must have been 6 feet tall and, 240 pounds. The only one.